Hey guys. Sorry, I just had a funny idea to throw all my stuffed animals in the camera, but it didn't turn out well anyway. Yeah, I brought all my stuffed animals for this video today because today we're going to be talking about my second OC character thing from the book I'm writing. So the first video we did, I talked about Amethsyt Mae. Didn't turn out too well. I didn't like the video, but you guys liked it. So I'm doing her brother now, and as you can see, there is a blue theme going on. Yes, this is blue, not purple. A lot of people think it's purple, but if you're here with me, it's blue. The camera just makes it look blue. And then I have this little guy. He's blue. I thought it was an axolotl, but apparently he's a bearded dragon. So yeah, I look stupid. We have him again. We have our buddy Leonardo. I didn't name him, guys. I mean, I did name him, but I didn't get his name wrong this time. So good for me. Leonardo. He's not blue, but I mean, he's like, I don't know, he gives a blue vibe to me. We have Shine Spot. Don't ask me about the name. When I was young, I noticed that she had yellow spots, or at least they used to be very bright yellow. I was like, oh, yellow is like shiny, and she has spots. Shine Spot, that's her name, okay? And it just stuck. She's also not blue, but she does have blue eyes. But I just thought, she's cute for this, you know, she's just cute to add. And then I have this little hand puppet here that's also completely blue. That's a dolphin, and I never picked a name for this one because it technically was my brother's before he moved out. So, I didn't want to ruin anything. I don't even know if he had a name for this guy either. So, these are the stuffies that are going to be joining me today because I do need stuffed animals. Yes, they do distract me, but I just thought it would be fun to have some of my stuffies join me today so you can look at someone's face. Let's see how we can set these guys up. Leonardo, are you good? Okay. Wait, let's put him. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, so yeah, if I knock these guys over, I'm sorry. Yeah, these are my buddies today. Anyways, besides all that craziness, let's talk about Zac Mae. Now, Zac, you're probably thinking, Zac is a very different name compared to Amethyst. Like, you have Amethyst, and then you have Zac. It just feels very different, because I've heard that a lot of people, when they name their kids, they do either like all long names, all short names, all J names, all M names, things like that. Like they try to do similar things. Like usually people that name their kids with a 4-letter name, the rest of their kids are going to have 4 letters or 5 letters at least. I don't know how it works. I've just seen that a lot. Where Amethyst and Zac is quite different, and when I was telling somebody that, they're like, that doesn't fit. Because Amethyst's younger sister is Sapphire. They're like, that doesn't make sense because you have gemstone, not gemstone, gemstone. But it's fine. You know, it's fine. And Zac, I actually did have a name for him because I didn't like Jasper. Because I was trying to think of a gemstone name for a boy. And I didn't like Jasper. So I was like, what's another one? And I really liked Turquoise. But I'm like, I'm not having a character named Turquoise. Just no. But I did get inspiration for another character of mine. His name is Turk. So Zac Mae is a year younger than Amethyst. And even though the story isn't about him, he's still a very complex character, in my mind at least. Because he's kind of like one of those characters where you feel like you know this person. But when he opens up and you actually genuinely see, like if I were to write a book in his POV and you saw how he dealt with things, how his thought process, you wouldn't, like, he's the character where you think you know who he is, but if you were to see his actual thought process, you'd be like, whoa, I wasn't expecting him to be like this. But not in a bad way, in a good way. He is a little more quiet. He doesn't like sharing a lot of things, but he's the type of person that tells people, like, you need to just let it go, or you're struggling with something, you need to tell people about it. But he doesn't feel like he doesn't struggle with a lot, and when he does tell people, he does open up. It's just not what you're expecting from him, because he's not that type of a character. You just kind of, Zac is the type of character that you like, oh, he's nice, he's cool, he's a fun brother character. But when you really get into the depth of like his thought process and his background and how the way he thinks about things, because you're seeing in the book an Amethyst POV, but if you were to see it through his eyes, or see any of my stories through his eyes, like, he's a very complex character and like very different to what people may think, but not in a bad way, you know. He's also one of my first characters that I created, actually. In my origin story, I mentioned how I used my imaginary friends. I had 200 girls and 200 boys. I was young, so I didn't have names for every single one, but I had names for a majority of them. Zach was one of them, and his name wasn't Zach. His name was like Zaid or something, Xander, something like that. I remember it did start with a Z, but I forgot his name. And I, throughout the years, developed Zac Mae, and he wasn't originally gonna be Amethyst's brother. He was like gonna be Amethyst's boyfriend, I think, or something, and he was gonna be more of like a hot-headed bad boy. That sounds really weird saying it out loud, but he wasn't gonna be the sweet, calm, gentle brother figure. And I was like, I don't want to write a character like that. Like, I didn't like the way I had his character before, because I kind of based him off of one of my brothers, and he was kind of like, I don't know, hot-headed bad boy. My brother isn't like that, but like, I don't know how to explain it. But you get my point, like something like that, a little bit more crazy, a little bit more flirtatious, a little bit more wild, more rebellious type of character. And as I was putting him into this story, I realized that his character, like, wouldn't fit in this story. He wouldn't have that relationship with Amethyst. So I created another character that Amethyst kind of likes, and he kind of likes Amethyst, but don't know that yet. And that's a whole thing. But Zach turned out to be your brother. So if you don't, I'm not going to go too much into their backstory, because I'm going to tell you more about Zach. But if you do want to know about that, go check out my other videos, because in Amethyst's video, I mentioned a couple things, and in my, I think it was like explaining my book, that it wasn't the origins, but it was explaining my book. I did talk about a little about that, so you can go watch that. If you haven't watched it, I would watch those. If you haven't watched any of the videos that I've posted about my book specifically, I would go and watch them, because you're not going to understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, I love Zach as a character. Like, honestly, he is a character that I would want to bring into real life and talk with him, and like I would want him to be like a brother to me, because he has two sisters, Amethyst and Sapphire, and he is very like close to them, and he like takes care of them and he loves them, and that's kind of like me. Like, I just want to, like, I have 3 brothers myself, and I tried to make Zach a mix of my brothers, and to an extent, and I just want him to have that special, like, brother figure vibe, where he always wants to make sure his sisters are okay, even though he is the middle. He's not the oldest, he's the middle kid, but he still, like, loves his family and wants to take care of them. Another thing, that's a couple things about Zach, kind of like who he is, his personality. This is a little bit easier to explain, because when I was doing Amethyst's video, I feel like I already kind of explained it in another video, so it was kind of hard for me to explain Amethyst, but explaining Zach is easy with him, because I haven't really talked too much about him, so explaining him has been a little bit easier. But anyways, yeah, so who's he closer to, Amethyst or Sapphire? I always had a thing with this, because when I wrote his character in the book, I wanted him to have like a special relationship with both of them, but I wanted them to have a bond with one or the other. And I would say this, he's very close to Amethyst, like very close, like they are peak siblings. They like almost tell each other everything, pretty much anything. Usually Zach has to nudge Amethyst, like, hey, tell me what's going on, but still, he has to kind of push it, but, you know, they're still extremely close. And then I would say with Sapphire, he's more like the big, fun brother, like, kind of like, imagine an older brother telling his little sister, if you have older brothers, even if you're not a girl, like, if you have older brothers and they tell you, like, hey, do you want to do this, kind of messing around with you, playing with you, being a little more silly, but also, like, if you're being silly around guests or not being too mature, they kind of, like, put you in your place type of thing. That's the way he is with Sapphire, and then with Amethyst, he's just more like a brother character. They're a little bit more like twins, and then with Sapphire, they're just a little bit more like close, normal siblings. Like, picture your everyday older brother and little sister, Zac and Sapphire. Amethyst and Zac are a little bit more like twins, but they kind of like are a little separate and a little more quiet, but they like always make sure they try to tell each other what's going on and try to like help each other out. So yeah, I would say he's close to both of them, but I would say, like, this is completely random, but I just wanted to mention it. Like, I know it's random saying like who's he closer to, but I just wanted to mention it. So yeah, I'd say he's close to both of them, but I would say he has different relationships with both of them too, so whichever one you think is closer. And then, last but not least, we are going to talk about how he looks and like everything like that, his simple likes and dislikes. So, Zac is, like, I think I mentioned this before, Raylikins change the way they look. So on Raylik, because he's a Raylikin, and then he came to Omark and lives in the Kingdom Belnar, and now he's a spy with his sister. So when he was on Raylik, he had, I think he had like gray hair, actually. I think he had silver hair. Yeah, okay, he had silver hair, emerald green eyes, and like really emerald green eyes, and like really dark skin, because his parents had dark skin, but not like, I don't want to sound weird, not black skin, but he had dark skin, like my skin, darker than this, like dark tan, but not black, if that makes sense. And Amethyst was the same way, and he had like really, they were kind of more shiny, because that's the way Raylikins look, they're a little bit more shiny and speckled, but not in a feminine way, like he still looked masculine, but he was still a little more like shiny. I don't know how to explain that. And then when he came to Omark, he changed a lot. He looked a little more human. He has like light brown eyes. Amethyst also has light brown eyes, like him. And he has dirty blonde hair, but his dirty blonde hair is a little bit darker. And then Amethyst has dirty blonde too, but it's a little bit lighter. And it's like the way it changed. So like when they go to Raylik, because they're spies for Omark and Belnar. But then when they go to Raylik, they're like, their form changes, so they look back like they're Raylikin cells, so nobody would suspect anything. And Sapphire looks most different, because she had red hair on Raylik, had red hair. Well, her hair turned reddish brown on Omark when they were in Belnar, but she dyed it red, because she prefers red. And then she had sapphire blue eyes, and that's how she got her name. She has sapphire blue eyes. And, but on Raylik, I think she might still not Raylik, sorry. On Belnar, she might still have blue eyes, but I think no, she might have. I can't remember if I changed her eyes to brown or green, but that would be explained in the next video. Where Zac has dark dirty blonde hair, but it's still blonde, and it's not like brown; it's like blonde, and then but it's dirty blonde, and then dark dirty blonde hair with light brown eyes. And I can't remember exactly if I have a height for him. I think I said like 5'8", 5'9" for his height, and Sapphire goes closer to his height, and Amethyst is kind of the short one in the family. Well, she's not short, she's taller than me, but she's like the shortest. And, yeah. And I think you guys have seen the drawing. If you haven't, in my community posts, I posted a couple months back a drawing of him, and I haven't colored it in yet, because I've been lazy and I've been bored to draw him, but I did draw him, so if you want to kind of see an outline of what he looks like, just go to my posts and scroll down a bit and you'll find him somewhere. Yeah, so that's pretty much what he looks like. He also has freckles in Belnar. When he came, Sapphire and him both got freckles, and Amethyst didn't. She was really disappointed, because she's like, I wanted freckles, and you guys got these cute freckles. So yeah, they got freckles. And that's pretty much it for him. So I kind of explained his character, what he's like. He's very gentle, very kind, but he's also very, because he's a spy, so he can stand his ground and he can be firm, but he's also very gentle. And he's not one of those guy characters that's always sarcastic and funny and like flirtatious and all that stuff. He's not. Look, if you ever read Keeper Lost Cities, he's like the Fitz Okay. He's like the Fitz. Obviously, I know a lot of people don't like Fitz. I like Fitz, but it's fine. I mean, I'm Team Keith, obviously, but like I don't hate Fitz. Everyone's like, oh, Fitz is horrible. I don't hate Fitz. Zac is kind of like Fitz, but he's also kind of like, if you ever read The Hunger Games or watched the movies, he's kind of like Peeta Mellark. I always say his name like that because I can't say his name right. Peeta Mellark. I don't know. Okay, so he's like that and Fitz put into one. And maybe a little bit of Cole from Ninjago, if that makes sense. He's like that. So I pretty much explained like his personality, what he likes, that type of thing. He loves crossbows. He collects crossbows. Like in a scene in my book, when a Prince Turk comes to where the Mays live, he comes to their place, and they're giving him like a grand tour, and like he walks into Zac's room, and there's like this wall of crossbows, and like there's even, it's starting to take up the other wall, and he's like, whoa, you really love crossbows, because he like not just collects them, but he collects like the unique ones. So yeah, that's another little tidbit about him. So that's pretty much it. Kind of what he looks like, what he looked like on his homeland, what his personality is, what he likes. He loves crossbows. Yeah, I hope you guys like this character, and I hope you guys like this video. Obviously, you haven't read this character because my book isn't finished, but I will try to work on it as much as I can, being super busy with everything, like my mom being pregnant, if you didn't know that. I made a post about it, but with my mom being pregnant and school and everything like that, it's just been really, really busy, like really busy for my family, so I haven't been uploading a lot. Every time I upload, I try to upload a bunch at a time so I can get a lot in on the same day, and then I just take a break. So yeah, sorry if I haven't been too active. I know a lot of you, my friends, do live streams or whatever, and I haven't been joining a lot of those lately, but it's because I've been so busy, and I want to join, and don't feel bad. You guys do whatever's day good for you guys, but sometimes it's not the best for me, which is fine. I just feel bad I haven't been very active. But anyways, besides all that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed looking at my stuffed animals, now that I have them here. I hope you guys enjoyed everything and enjoyed me explaining Zac. I think this went way smoother than explaining Amethsyt, like way smoother. A lot. Also, I haven't finished the thumbnail for this video, so I'm gonna just make up a quick one, and because Zac's kind of like main color is blue, when you think of Zac, you think of blue, I'm just gonna do some blue stuff on Procreate and figure it out, as a thumbnail, so yeah. But anyways, this video has already taken me too long, and I've been rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for seeing my stuffies. Thank you for sitting and listening to me for 18 minutes. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope you guys enjoyed Zac Mae, and if you have any questions about him, I can answer them in the comments below, or you can subscribe to me if you're new and tell your friends about me, because at 50 subscribers I'm gonna have a Q&A so I can answer things about my characters, about me in that video. So hopefully I can get that done soon, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for watching this video. Bye.